I need help. Can you
Yay.
see?
Yes.
No? Okay, it's
Yes.
Johan from Cape Town. I'm trying to say hello to Johan. Where are you, Johan?
I'm here. I can
Hello,
hear you.
Yeah.
Johan, you're the next. Go on.
Okay, just one small correction. I'm not from Cape Town. I wish I was. I'm in the Kalahari Desert up in the Northern Cape province. Can I share my screen?
Yes,
Peter,
please.
can I share my screen?
Go on.
Yes.
It's your presentation.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Thank you, Lion. Lion, we keep talking with Lion on the fourth cafe later. Lion, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Go on, Johan, please. Sorry.
Okay. I'm just trying. I've not shared a screen before. Desktop one, share. Now zoom to share your screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, hang on. Now Zoom was, okay, I'm going to speak without my presentation. It's going to waste too much time now. I need to quit Zoom and restart it to get this active. Very shortly, my first encounter with RPN was when I was about 13 or 14 years old. One of my cousins had a HP 35. And you guys would know that's the first HP calculator that came out. I didn't quite understand it at the time. It was just a funny little device with blinking lights and fascinated me a little bit. Went through school, high school, did with my last year, my final year in 1978. And Scientific American published a special issue on microelectronics in that year. And that really is where my interest in computers started. Next year, I went to university. I would have majored in computer science or applied mathematics, but I dropped out at the end of the year and started working in IT and IMIT, whatever you wish to call it. Now it was basically a computer operator in those days. I got in-house training on COBOL programming after doing a little bit of BASIC and Fortran at university. And then I started working here where I'm now with a mining company, and they sent me for training as an electronics technician. It's also more or less the time that the IBM PC came out, and work and whatever, I never ran into Gforth again. I read about it in magazines, specifically the Byte magazine, but I never worked with Gforth. I've known about it all along, and I've been aware of it, and you encounter it every now and then in a magazine or an article or something. And then about 3 years ago, I basically retired, and I started playing with Raspberry Pis and with Arduinos. And that's when I remembered, but what I'm doing here in these small computers would actually, as far as I can remember, be nice to do in Gforth. And that is how I ended up with the group that we're all part of, members of. And how I tried Arduino. I didn't have much success. I think I missed something somewhere, but I almost immediately had good results with the Raspberry Pi. I used one of the open source Gforths, Gforth, with a library that was written actually for C for the Raspberry Pi. I published a short video of what I've done, or the results of what I've done, on the group. If you go and search there, you will find it. And at the moment, I'm still battling to work out the use of interrupts. That's my next big step. I have no definite objective in mind, just curiosity. How do these things work? How do they fit together? And it's something to occupy my mind while I'm basically doing nothing. Like I said, I've basically retired a year or two ago. And that is it. I'm sorry I couldn't share my presentation here, but yeah, I found it very easy to work with the Raspberry Pi and Gforth. It's not overly difficult. It's a matter of learning Gforth to a higher degree than what I have been able to do up to now. So yeah, nothing earth-shattering, nothing, no rocket science, no artificial intelligence here. Just plain simple bit banging, turning bits on and off. But it is quite interesting. And that's it, that's my story.
That's great.
Great.
Okay.
I think it's a really good application of Gforth, is these kind of small devices like that. I haven't done anything with the Raspberry Pi yet, but it's or some of the small devices that Peter shares occasionally, very low powered devices. That is a good application for Gforth.
Yeah, a good friend of mine dug himself into PIC programming. He started off with machine language, and at the time I wanted to sort of tell him, but you can do better with C. And he eventually did move to C, but I think I must start poking him and pushing him towards Gforth. I think he will find it way easier than anything else. I was absolutely amazed at how easy it was to turn on lights and read switches. And it was not even a very sophisticated program. So yeah, no, it's quite an interesting thing to tackle. It is not a boring subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johan.
Guys. Thank you.
Okay.